this a couple weeks ago when I wasn't on because, oh my gosh, you were only on for an hour, so I couldn't be on last week.
That was last week. Wasn't that terrible?
So
to do
now,
an hour? I mean, it's just it's inconceivable.
Okay, so now I was thinking about it for like
God,
a
I
week,
can barely get my head around it.
and I thought, holy camole. This is something I can't believe. I've been on the air with you for more than a year, and I haven't talked about it yet. And this is like a topic of conversation in the natural health world that needs to be talked about.
And the big reveal is
Bowel movements.
bowel movements. You gotta be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
Well, you know what? It has, like, we haven't talked about it, right?
Well, John and I have on a number of occasions.
Oh, absolutely. Every chance we get.
Yeah.
Right, but not on the air.
Okay, a bowel movement. Now there are people for whom they're cringing right now. Someone's
Right,
in the
for
middle
sure.
of their they're in the middle of their oatmeal. They're in the middle of their their crunchy granola. They're in the middle of having a little coffee in their hand spun mug, and they're saying to themselves, "I can't listen to conversation in the mornings about bowel movements."
Oh, but
why
they can.
is it that people are so opposed to bowel movements? I mean, it's one of the more natural things. In fact, I think it was Gandhi who referred to it as one of the more holy moments in one's life to get out those toxins that are in
Did you just make that up?
Well, maybe, but no. Yeah, maybe I made that up, but maybe you should Google it. Who, by the way, the dog sitter over here told me today when I couldn't find some information online that is not available online. He blamed me for just being a bad Googler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you Google that one, Gandhi's statement
Okay.
about bowel movements?
So
why is it that people are so opposed to it?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that people don't talk about it because it's something that is private that we do that's kind of, I mean, it's disgusting. There's, bacteria, and it's dirty and it's smelly, and so we don't talk about it. And I think that it's something that has definitely changed in our culture, and not that people were always used to sit around talking about it, but I think that it's something that has just increased in not talking, but decreased in talking about. So
yeah, so all societies have a way of like looking scornfully upon
right.
bowel movement, but it's an important part of one's health life.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important. And when it dawned on me that we hadn't talked about it, I was like, wow, I need to bring this up, and I have a few thoughts on it. But
It just dawned on me what we're talking about.
really?
Yeah.
You didn't know what a bowel movement was?
No, I did, but it just like hit me like, oh, we're going to be talking about,
Poop.
pooping.
Yeah. On the air.
I'm sorry.
So I really doubt
This
that
is
this topic of
My
conversation...
dog sitting brain.
This is
Like, I know TJ's on here, doing the Saturday morning, and I listen to him occasionally. I think he has really good information, but I just don't know that people are actually talking about bowel movements on, radio, and so I just feel like we
I
need
think
to
you're
talk
probably
about it.
I think you're probably right about that.
Yeah, so is it
I don't think a
okay
lot
if
of
we
people-
venture into this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because now we only have 8 minutes left in the
Okay.
segment. Yeah,
So
let's-
I think we need to talk about it. So if we think about like
and let's talk about it in a healthful and healthy way.
that's typically how I want to talk about
I mean,
something.
let's-
What other way is there to talk about it? I
sort of
mean,
in the sophomoric way we've been talking about it so far.
come on, let's move on.
John out.
Yeah, .org. Yeah.
Okay. So from the time, people have babies, they eat and then they poop. And it's a really naturally occurring thing. And what having a bowel movement does is obviously one of the things you said is it moves toxins through our system.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's funny that like on the Cheerios box, it's like, potentially lowers your cholesterol or whatever they say about that, like heart healthy and all that kind of stuff, because lowering your cholesterol is good for your heart. But really what it is that there's a little bit of fiber in Cheerios, and it helps you go to the bathroom, which then can decrease your cholesterol. So they're
you're
missing
saying
a
that-
link in there.
So you're saying the thing that makes those heart-healthy foods like Cheerios good for your heart is that it helps you have a bowel movement?
There's
they're keeping
fiber.
and they're keeping that from... It's the fiber?
It's the fiber.
And they're keeping that from you. They're
Yeah,
just
they
like, it's good
they
for
don't
your
bring
heart.
it up. It's just like the topic of moving your bowels. People don't talk about it. So
Is this like a Cheerios conspiracy theory, or is this...
no, they just don't want to talk about it. They're missing that step in there. They don't give us all the information, which
They don't
is
tell you
fine.
why
It's
it's
their
good for your
prerogative,
heart.
right?
Huh.
So, but
It's a difficult advertising stretch
Right.
to go from delicious cereal to,
increases
healthy
your
dookie.
right.
Yeah, but the... See, this is what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
seriously, John. Seriously.
What's that?
I got a whole quiver.
What's that yogurt? What's that yogurt?
Right, Activia.
Activia. I mean, I was bragging about that on there, like,
Yeah.
so
Okay,
Okay,
so
all right.
so it's ink. I think people are realizing it, but anyway, like, so if you think about what how babies typically work, unless they're maybe fed a less natural diet, or I don't know, there can be some issues upon birth. But what I'm finding in the natural health world is that oftentimes even young children now are having fissures, and fissures are a problem. I'm just going to get like kind of detailed here, but with your anus. And it's from actually holding in bowel movements because it hurts to release. And then, so that can be a whole host of problems, from lack of fiber, which is the main one, to lack of good oils can be another part of that. And so there's not lubrication in the bowel, and there's not an ability to let go, lack of water, and then eating foods that are constipating, from white flour, white sugar, corn syrup, all of those kinds of processed preservative foods. If you think about eating preservative foods that are full of preservatives, those foods last a long time. They have a long shelf life. And what are they doing like inside of us? And I think that it's important to think about the amount of fiber that we're eating and the regularity of moving our bowels, and also making an okay thing. When kids get into school,
I think I'm getting dizzy here. Thinking about all those, you string those words together like that, like fissures and. Oh,
Really? Because I'm cramping up.
really? Oh my gosh! If anybody's driving right now, pull over.
I think I need a bowl of crackling Oat Bran right now.
Get yourself a fiber bar. Holy
no.
moly.
Okay, so
It's
anyway.
like Scared Straight bowel movement edition.
Stop already. Come on. So.
Oh no!
My. Boy.
All right, so this is natural
That's
health
the
coach
melody.
Shelley Paget, and she has, for a year, more than a year, she has put off this conversation. And now
Here it
we're
is.
going to have it.
Thank
and we're
goodness,
gonna
I'm
have it.
biting the tip of my tongue off. I'm being very good. I hope.
Excuse yourself, John.
Yeah, I might need
Yeah.
to.
Okay, so anyway, what happens when kids get into school, or when when these kinds of foods are introduced into their diet, or they just get busy and they just they don't want to go to the bathroom, so they just start holding it. And I think that then
Yeah,
develops a
and-
whole
That's right. And public
pattern.
places it's a difficult thing if you're supposed to, like I know you've talked about this regularly with me and